What's up, guys? This is Lewis, back with another episode of The Development. We out here in New York on this beautiful day, downtown Brooklyn. I have a good friend with me today, Alex Pineiro. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing great, man. It's a beautiful day in New York City. Even though the fall is coming, it's still sort of warm, sort of cool. It's like teasing hoodie weather. But it's nice. It's nice, man. Can't really complain.
Yeah, man. Summer just up and left. I don't even know where it went. She was just like, I'm out of here.
Yep, I'm packing up. I'm leaving. That's it.
Yeah. So, Alex, thanks for coming on the show. I know you're a podcaster. You're an inspiring actor. You're gonna be one. I know you've been on a show so far. What made you want to do a podcast and then like fulfill your like dream to becoming an actor?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Luis, thank you for having me, man. This is awesome. I've been waiting during quarantine to be on podcasts because I know that's all you really could make right now. But yeah, man, I have a couple podcasts. I started my first podcast with a friend of mine. We did an acting podcast called the ICBIMC. I can't believe it's more content because I both were actors, and we felt like there's not a lot of podcasts in which actors share information about behind the scenes and how things work as an actor. It's more just like movies, like how they're made, but the process of being an actor and like what we do and things like that. And then we halted that. We did maybe 16 episodes of that. Then I started my own podcast called The Smooth Talk, in which it's just me. It's a comedy podcast, and I would listen to a lot of comedians. I like comedy, so I would listen to podcasts like Bill Burr, Tom Segura, and then they have podcasts which they just do it by themselves, and they just it's kind of like a stand-up act, and the audience is the people that are listening, and it's not live feedback, live reactions. So it's weird at first, but it's a lot of improv. It's a lot of just like picking up as you go and just making things up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I have a small audience there. It's definitely different from the acting side because being dramatic and all these things, but that's more just me being like silly, like being a silly goose, just being a weirdo and rambling and things like that. What was your other question?
Acting.
Acting.
Why did you want to get into that?
Why did I want to get into acting? Okay, the golden question. Well, I mean, I started, first of all, people would just call me Hams my whole life. Like, oh, you're a ham, you're this, you're that. I was like, all right, you're a funny man, so why don't you try acting? And I never really took it seriously. People tell you things, and you're just like, yeah, maybe one day, oh, maybe I'll try this. Oh, you could draw. It's like, not really, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I took an acting class in college when I was at QCC, and I kind of liked it. The teacher liked me a lot. And then I went to Brooklyn College. I took another acting class, and again, not taking it seriously. I'm studying other things. I'm studying film production. I'm studying like directing and things like that, producing. And then I did my first in front of people, like with an audience. I did a play in Japan. I did study abroad, and one of our final projects was to perform in front of the school in Japanese a comedy skit that we had to put together. So it was like that moment. Can you curse on here?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. It was like that fuck it moment where it's like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's have fun. And we just had fun, man. It was just a great time. Even though we fumbled, I fumbled lines from translating. It's just and then acting. It's just a lot of things to juggle. So, but it was fun. And then from there, I graduated with my film production degree, and after a while doing film production stuff, I was like, let me do acting more seriously. Let me do some modeling and stuff like that. And from there I just started doing a bunch of free stuff, man. If you love something, whether it's in any type of art, you always do things for free or really, really cheap because nobody really knows you. You have to get your name out there. So I started off. Am I rambling? No? Okay. That's the one thing I was like, this guy, I have a question. So I started off doing free student background films. So I was in the background of student films for free.
Okay.
My only payment, I would say, would maybe a bagel or something like that. It was really just hard labor, for no, there was no guarantee anything would happen, but I just really wanted to do acting, and there were things that I wanted to do in shows I wanted to be on, and so I would do that for free. And then eventually I got into doing like some speaking roles on these student films, like NYU films and New York Film Academy, things like that. And it just started picking up from there. And a few months later, I had actually gotten. I still don't have agents. I didn't have any management or anything, but I had an audition for this show on Investigation Discovery called The Perfect Murder, and they gave me the role on that, in which I was basically like, kind of like a co-lead in the show, even though I was only in there maybe like 10 minutes, but I was like the murderer in the show. And that show is basically like real life, like mystery murders and what happened. Like it was something about the guy, like his wife was cheating on him or something like that, and then I went to murder the guy that something. It's like crazy stuff. Okay, we're actors. We don't portray these people for real. So, but yeah, that was one of my first stints on TV, and then from there, I just started doing more TV. It's just like a little like escalator. You know what I mean? Like you slowly rise, as long as you keep at it, keep applying yourself, things like that, and having a good like support group, people like I mentioned, I had a friend that we did a podcast together. Having people that are like-minded and want to do similar things to what you want to do and have similar goals, that really helped a lot. You know.
All right, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have said expand your horizons and depending on anything you do, have more than one thing. Just like you said also in a previous podcast, somebody did say sometimes depending on what you're doing, you may have to do it for free or you may have to do it for cheap. Yeah. But that can also help you to rise to the top. Yeah. Even if it's not the top where you want to be, it'll help you go. And
listen, man, it's sorry.
No, you're good.
It's unless you have a direct connection in the business, unless you're like Jaden Smith and you're born into it. You know, not to say he doesn't have talent, he does, you know, but if you're not born into, like, my family, nobody's in theater, nobody's in film, nobody. I have a distant cousin that she's in, like, music and stuff like that, but that's about it. So we have to basically crawl, like, our way to get some scraps, and then from that we build on those scraps. You know what I mean? It's like when you don't have a lot of toys, and you have, like, that little, like, paddle ball thing, and you just keep playing with it until you get more toys, and then you work, and then you get more, and yeah, man, it's just it's a grind, it's a hustle. But if you love doing it and you want to see yourself being in it, then you're gonna do what it takes.
Definitely, man. I totally agree with you on that. I've seen some of your comedy skits, very funny. Sometimes funny dry, but you need to hear that so then you could grow more. But a lot of it is really funny, and I'm like, this guy, man, like he's hilarious. I know you was on a NBC show. I think it was called like FBI or so. I know it had something to do with FBI. Like how did you get on that? Like how did you get a script? I know you had a speaking role in there. Like how was that process?
Yeah, so it's CBS, not NBC. Don't want the executives to see me agreeing with that. No, it's CBS FBI. It's one of the shows created by Dick Wolf, who does like Law and Order and things like that. So he just does a bunch of like these type of detective shows, these cop shows, things like that. So essentially, my agent had sent me an audition for it, and it was a self-tape. And then from there, they had me in a callback. So usually, in case people don't know, especially for TV shows or big projects, you'll have a two-step process in which you do a self-tape if they're not having in-person auditions in front of the casting directors. You'll record yourself on the camera, with good lighting, good audio, and you'll have a reader, hopefully, with you. For the most part, you do read alongside you for your role, and then you submit that, and then from there, your agent will contact you, or the casting director, if you submit directly, will contact you saying, hey, we loved you, we want to have you for a callback, and which is like, all right, there was 3,000 people that submitted, now we're down to 50 people. So, and that's how it works. There's so many people that submit to these things. It's literally like trying to find like a needle in a haystack, basically. So I submitted my self-tape through my agent from Emerging Talent, Albert Bavante, he's a great guy. And they loved me, and then they had a callback, in-person callback, in which I got to meet the director of the episode. and I performed the scene in front of them. And yeah, from there I booked it, and I little did I know, or maybe I wasn't, because sometimes you do these scenes and you don't know who's going to be in it. It could be like a EMT that's rushing in to say something to you, or it could be like the lead role. You never know. It could be Tom Cruise that's going to run in. But yeah, I didn't know at the time that I was going to be performing opposite one of the leads of FBI, Zico Zaki, who's still actually in the series as a lead. And I think they wanted to make sure that whoever was going to be playing opposite him could keep up, with the chops. You know what I mean? Because these are highly trained actors. This is premium television. To millions of people watch this. So yeah, they just want to be sure that your energy, you're not too short, too tall. You're not an asshole. You show up on time. That's okay. Listen, showing up on time is such a deal breaker that people don't know. Showing up early and showing up on time, people remember that. If you have like I said, 3,000 people, and half of them show up on time, that's already an elimination process. It's a part of the test, believe it or not. So yeah, and once I was there, I had a little my own trailer, not a big trailer, but when you're doing like these co-star roles, you get like a little room in which they bring you in when the scene is ready to shoot, and it was great. It was really good. Zico's a great actor, and they're really like on top of the ball on that production. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Like, congrats. Hope you get more just like that. Like, to get on a TV show where like a lot of people watch you, and like it's not like a small role, or like you have some speaking roles, like that's great.
Totally agree. And there's some roles that I don't tell people about, but I was actually supposed to be on The Deuce on HBO with James Franco, but they had cut my scene. Yeah, so it was a great opportunity. I actually got to meet James, and he's a cool guy. And I was on set with there's another actor, I forgot his name, but he was in Luke Cage. But yeah, actually, I low-key offended James Franco that day. It wasn't a joke, but all right. You mind if I tell the story?
Yeah.
Okay, so he basically like runs the show. He's like a producer on the show. He plays himself and his brother. And that day, or I guess every day, he rents this ice cream truck for the crew and everything like that. I mean, he's got the money. So he rents this ice cream truck and then just waits outside, and you order whatever you want. It's free for the cast and crew. And yeah, it had all these funky flavors like honeycomb and like almond milk, vanilla, and crazy stuff, artisanal stuff. I was like, this is dope. So I got like basic bitch shit. I got like vanilla, I had cookies and cream, something like that. And then I was just sitting down, and I was waiting. It was a long day. I was waiting for the scene. You're me, and I'm James Franco. Actually, you know what? I'll be me since I'm me, and you're James Franco, okay? And we're just sitting next to each other. This is a little table here, eating the ice cream. I'm talking to him about it, and he's like, yeah, I get this, to pay back for the people because they work so hard. I was like, that's cool, man, that's cool. I was like, so what'd you get? He's like, oh, it's like, it's honeycomb with honey and sprinkles and chocolate. And like, I thought of that, and I was like, that's gotta be like 7 billion milligrams of sugar. And so I was like, I literally like winced. I was like, James, that's not too sweet, man. And let me tell you something, the way he looked at me was such utter disgust. Like I was the problem. So he's eating, and he turned to look at me and said, no. And then crossed his legs the other way and then turned this way. And I said, there goes my career. Off one joke. Yeah, I like telling that story because it's so minute, and it probably blacklisted me forever.
Damn, man, damn. James Franco, if you're watching, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. We don't mean to judge.
Bring me back. I'll eat it. I'll eat it in front of you and the crew. Bring me back. No.
He didn't mean to judge. It's just sometimes you think about it, and a weird flavor to somebody it's a weird flavor. It's not a weird flavor for you.
Goes to show you, don't judge a book by its cover, man. Ever.
Definitely.
Could be James Franco.
That's still awesome. You met James Franco. That's a person that, like, in the future I will hope to meet. Like, he seems like a cool, laid back guy.
Oh yeah, no, he's very, very chill. very conversational, very chill. Hardworking guy, yeah, for sure.
Um, who else would you want to work with since now that this is your career goal, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So who else would you want to work with? Like if your agent was to be like, hey, I got a role with blah 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 right now, come, would you do it?
Oh man, there's really so many, like, being on the come up. There's still so many opportunities that are still out in the open. But I mean, one of my favorite actors is Jim Carrey, and I know a lot of people probably say that, but I really grew up on his films, and I mimicked a lot of his things, from like The Mask to Ace Ventura, just being a total goofball. And that's, you'll see in the Smooth Talk, if you ever watch or listen to my podcast, you'll see that I'm like a fucking weirdo in a way, and I try to like mimic what he does, and it's so genius, like some of the Robin Williams and comedians like that. But yeah, him. I would love to work with Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's a Puerto Rican playwright and a producer, and he just came out with Hamilton on Disney Plus, and now he's got the adaptation of In the Heights coming. It's supposed to be this year, but because of Corona, it was delayed until next year. Based on like Dominicans in Washington Heights. The play is amazing. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I actually submitted for that, and I'm not in it, unfortunately. Maybe in part 2. But yeah, definitely them, and who else? Yeah, there's just a lot of people, man. Anthony Ramos, another Puerto Rican actor, very talented on the come up, young guy. Yeah, for sure.
If any of you are watching this, please hit my boy up. He's good. He's trustworthy. He's on time. You don't get a lot of that. Yeah, you definitely don't get a lot of on time. The production people hate that, but
People you can count on, man. That's essentially what. Let me grab this so you don't have to hold it. I don't want to feel like you're the holder. Reliable people, man. That's really what the business is about. Is communicating, being on time, and being reliable. In all sense of the word. When you say you're gonna do something, you should be doing it. And you should be doing it earlier than what you said. You know what I mean? Like when these casting directors send in auditions and they say, get it in by Monday and today's Friday, just do it today or do it tomorrow. Just don't wait. Get this shit done and make yourself look like, or just be an upfront, upstanding artist, because there's so many people that say they claim what they think they are or say they are, and they're really just not doing it at all. So yeah.
definitely agree with you. So unfortunately, we're in this COVID mess. Did you have opportunities before COVID, and then they were just like, nope, stop. We'll call you a few months. Let's see what happens, or next year. Was there missed opportunities that you really wanted?
Yeah. So funny thing is, excuse me, I'm not supposed to be here. I'd actually not like I should be dead. I'm talking about I got up and moved to LA in February. I had actually picked everything up. I had left my position where I was at, and I wanted to go to LA to pursue acting and pursue film and everything like that. And I was there for about a month, and then one of my agents, they had told me that I'd gotten an audition for a new show that was coming out. And it was just a self-tape because they were having it in New York and I was in LA, so I wasn't sure I was going to get it, but she told me I booked it through the self-tape. And so I came back to New York in March, the second week of March. I came back here to do the show, and then I was going to stay 2 weeks, hang out with my dog, hang out with some friends, and then go back. I have my fitting on a Thursday. On Monday, I kid you not, this is when Corona just hit full blown. Everything closed. People were panicking like chickens without heads. It was prime time, COVID, and I've been here. I've been stuck here. So, and then in LA, I had a play that I was going to be in called Los Dreamers, which was basically about the Mexican Dream Act and immigrants and things like that. And the oh my God. I'm drawing a blank now. It's the Zapatara, the Mexican gorilla, not the gorillas, the freedom fighters. I can't. Zapatistas. That's what it is. Zapatistas. Oh my God, it's been a while. Sorry, but it was the Zapatistas and then the Dream Act. It all correlated together, and I was going to be one of the lead roles on that, and that was canceled. And then while I was here in New York, the show that I came here for, they canceled my contract. So it was a rough time, because like I said, I had gotten up to leave and start a new life, and then I just end up coming right back here. So I know everybody has been going through a lot of things, but yeah, like mentally and emotionally, like a lot has kind of stalled for me. But I picked it back up and started doing a lot of writing. I started like my own little sketch series, the Corona Cowboy. I did a music video. I never would thought I would be making music, but I said, F it, I'm gonna try it. And a lot of writing, yeah. I've been writing scripts and things. And recently, the show that I came here for, they're starting up again, and they said, hey, we want you to be on here. Do you still want to be a part of it? I said, hell yeah, man. I've been here for 6 months. I want to be a part of it. What do you mean? So yeah, it's all coming back. It's all coming back again.
All right. Yeah. Hopefully, the show you're about to start now picks up. Hopefully, the one in LA that you was about to do, that picks up also. So maybe you fly back home. Yeah. If you call that home. I know New York. You was here first in New York, and then.
I'm gonna just be everywhere. Like I came to terms. I'm just gonna be wherever I need to be. Like that's.
Got you.
But New York will always be home. New York City has always been my home. So.
New York, big New York. Hopefully those roles keep going for you, man. Like, it sucks, COVID. Like, just go away already. We're tired of you.
Dude, like, it's funny because you think, like, I mean, a lot of people thought that it was going to be like, all right, the news hypes up a lot of things like bird flu, SARS, Zika. Of course, it affected a lot of people in disastrous ways, but to think that COVID would be on the scale that it is now, nobody predicted that, unless the government did and they just didn't say anything, which conspiracies, I don't know. But yeah, enough is enough. I totally agree with you, but it's still out there. Like I have friends that they work in the hospitals and they're saying like it picks up again and then it dies and it picks up, and I think that it's just going to be something we have to really just live with and live around until they really come out with that vaccine that's going to get rid of it for real.
Yeah, man. Let's hope for the best because we just don't know. Yeah. So, you've been you've been directing, but you've done some courses. When that time comes because I know actors after a while, they don't want to act anymore, or maybe not act anymore, but they want to still do what they're doing now.
All right, take it a step further.
Yes. When you do you want to take that step further, or do you want to like just keep acting until like whenever still you want to stop?
I think that I've always been doing like putting on a lot of hats, like I said with the podcast, like I started learning film production, and I started doing like I was a production assistant, as a video editor, and everything like that, and then I got into acting. I would definitely want to keep doing that, not just be an actor. Of course, I respect the craft 100%, but I like having my hand in like multiple pots, you know what I mean? Like doing multiple things, working on multiple projects. And just in the beginning of this year, me and my friend, is a good friend of mine, Max, we worked on a film together, a short film. We wrote it in a week and then just shot it all in a day. And we're working on that this year, getting it out. And even in school, I did a short film about an Italian mob. It was heavily inspired by like Goodfellas and Scarface, things like that. And that I had into festivals. I directed that one, wrote it. I got into like the Orlando Film Festival, the Hollywood Film Festival. It got around the circuit a little bit. And now I'm actually writing a script based on like a Latino family, because I feel like, and I think it's very important for people to know, is that Latino representation in TV is at an all-time low. There's really no television starring or any lead Latinos, Latinas. It feels like we're kind of like being put on the back burner, and it's it sucks because we're very hard workers and we're very passionate and we love what we do and we're very, very creative. You know, you go to anywhere, you go to the Heights, you go to Museo del Barrio, you go to all these different neighborhoods, and it's just sad. So I feel like I have to take initiative to create something that's based around us and that would help, because I know a lot of actors that are you know, Latino, Latina, and I talk to them. I'm like, are you working on anything? It's like, it's hard because they're not really casting us right now. So at that point, you have to either wait or you have to put your foot down and say, hey, I'm going to do my own shit. Yeah, I'm going to make my own thing happen. You know, like with your podcast now, like with the show you're doing now, it's like, I'm going to do my own thing. I want to start something. And that's how I feel. So writing the script, it's going to be a film, but I want to turn it into a series, heavily dynamic around like between a Latino family and a household. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, so in what you're saying with the directing, I'm working on it. I'm continue to work on it, but I kind of want to be like that Sylvester Stallone. Like I'm writing, I'm acting, I'm directing, I'm doing it all. Clint Eastwood guy, you know. So yeah, man, that's the goal. That's the dream.
That's awesome, man. I really hope for the best.
Thank you.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Latino rep you. Just rep for the Latinos. I'm sorry, I can't say the word. I'm so bad.
Latinos.
Yes. It's funny that you said that. John Leguizamo's doing the same thing, trying to rep for the Latino community, Latinas, like everywhere. Yes.
Love John.
Yes.
I respect him. I respect the shit out of him.
Yes. Yes, John. Like we love you for that. Thank you for pushing it. We need more people like you to stand up and be like, we want to do more than just be a maid or a drug dealer, because I'm sorry, like that's a lot of the Latino roles are almost like that, or we're the bad guy and we hardly see ourselves as a good guy, like, or come up from like low to high. We're just playing either the villain, the drug dealer, the maid, or like somebody that cleans, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we're more than that. We're definitely more than that. And I hope that your show picks up, like Netflix maybe, Hulu maybe.
I think it's a great idea. You know, my friend Max, who I work with, he said the script looks great and it has a lot of potential. Of course, you know, it could go either way. But the thing is, like, when in terms of indie productions, especially with like Latino and Latina based things, and you know, whatever ethnic thing that you're working on, we have to support it, and people have to support it, because a lot of things that are put in front of us are more American shows, you know, like the FBI's, the Law and Orders, the mainly, you know, not to get political, but mainly Caucasian cast, mainly lead roles that are the same people that have always been leading, the same people that have been cycling around. And not to say that these people don't have talent or don't belong there. It's just that we want more of us up there. We want more representation. And when you're being fed the same thing over and over, you don't really question it because you don't know there's other options. You know what I mean? When I first saw like a Puerto Rican on screen or a Mexican on screen, I was like, oh snap, you don't think that we're on TV unless you go to like Telemundo or something like that. And it's just like, why does it have to be like its own channel? Like, we could be everywhere, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be an exclusive thing. So yeah, man, I big props to John Leguizamo. You know, I've seen a lot of voices in the Latino community speaking up, and you know, Dasha Polanco is another one who's definitely like puts her voice out there, and I respect it, man. And actually, it's funny because this week is when is this coming out? Do you know, this week or next week?
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if it's this week that we're recording is the New York Latino Film Festival. And it's heavily just spotlighting the actors and filmmakers, and it's being sponsored by HBO and Univision and things like that. So if you can, I don't know if it'll still be available to watch when this is released, but check it out next year, you know, because it's definitely heavily broadcasted. And I'm trying to share it as much as I can, and I want other people to share it. You know, I hope you share it, and other people that I have an acting group that I try to share it to. But yeah, we have to support, man. because if we don't support each other, we're going to be unheard. We're going to be lost in the darkness, the abyss of people that's trying to get themselves heard. Yeah.
Definitely agree with you, man. Thanks for what you're doing. Thanks to John Leguizamo and all the Latino community that's just, trying to just be a word out there. Talking about being a word, you have any inspiration, anything inspirational to like just tell the viewers about like acting or podcasting or anything that they might want to do?
There's like so many things. There's so many things you could say. But I would say, first of all, regardless of what you do for work, for your livelihood, if you're interested in drawing, if you're interested in podcasting, if you're interested in acting, see if you could do a YouTube tutorial. Try to take a class at your local theater. Take some. There's 100 different, like Skillshare, Creative Live. There's all these type of online classes you could take without enrolling in a tuition to a college or university. So don't leave your passions undiscovered. Like try it. See if you like it. You could be the next. Who knows? The next Regina King. The next Denzel. The next whatever. You never really know until you try something. And in terms of advice, I guess for people is that I would say take every opportunity that you can. In the beginning I spoke about doing things for free, and that's really about building your resume and building your repertoire and testing the waters. But, also remember to live in the moment. Whenever there's things that are coming, remember to appreciate what you have when you have it. Be there when it happens. Connect with other people. Get off your phone. You know what I mean? But yeah, essentially appreciate the moment. Connect with others. Work hard. And yeah, just live, man. Life is short. Especially in COVID times, I've learned, spiritually, I've grown a lot. I'm sure a lot of people have. They had no choice. But yeah, man, connect with the world. Connect with people around you. Build those connections, because more likely than not, the people that you know are going to be the ones that are going to get you where you need to be. So, yeah.
100% agree with you. I really appreciate that you're sharing your story, sharing that you did things for free. Like, not a lot of people is going to admit that. They're going to be like, oh, I did this, I did that, because they want to show their bigger things, bigger goals. Yeah. But
nobody starts there. Like
yep.
I said, unless you have the connection or you're born into it. Everybody that that you see that's shining or glowing and they have it all right now, they probably did some even weirder stuff like to get where they are. Because that's the name of the game. You have to hustle, grind, not have low self-esteem, but kind of like be open to things that you wouldn't normally be open to. Like, even if you don't look down upon anything, you know what I mean? Because more than likely than not, it's going to get you to the next step,
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely appreciate you being on the show today. Definitely appreciate you repping the Latino community. We need more people like that. I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm all for Latinos and
gente.
Yes, all about that. Marta MDMC, she's Mexican. I'm all about helping anybody and everybody, but mostly our people.
Of course.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Alex, where can they find you? Where can they see like your podcast or like any of your skits?
You could just literally. I do this all the time because I want to see where I'm at in Google. But if you just Google Alex G. Pineiro, all my stuff will come up. But if you want to find me directly on Instagram, I'm at AP Suave. Twitter at I am the Alex P. YouTube, I'm at AP Suave. And what else? The Smooth Talk is at the Smooth Talk on Instagram, and also on YouTube is its own channel. And you can see all the videos. I do the live videos is on there, and they're all like 30, 40 minutes. But I'm also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play Music, I think it is. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. follow him, show some love, leave a comment maybe. He's an actor. He wants to hear your what do they say? Judgment. Not judgment, like criticism. There you go.
No, don't judge me. Don't judge me. I get enough of that. I get enough of that being on screen.
Yes.
It's like, why did you do that? That's not the, people always have something to say. It'll be like, that's not how you would act. It's like, oh really? Oh, okay. Well, maybe when you're up there you could try it out.
Yes. Good criticism. Maybe some bad, but not harsh, because we don't like the harsh.
There's a way to go about things. Criticism is necessary, but there's a way to go about it without being a dick. You know what I mean? So
Definitely. Don't be a dick.
don't be a dick.
So, as we end our show, guys, we want to thank Alex. Make sure you follow him on all his social media. That'll be down in the description below. You can find me at Lewis on IG. It's_official OFFICAL. And follow MDMC Entertainment on Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And you guys have a nice day. Thank you again, Alex, for being on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate this. And last thing, if anybody needs any advice, or if you want to talk about coming up or any questions at all, feel free to hit me up on social media, man. I always like helping people, because there were people that helped me when I really didn't know where I was going. So yeah, feel free to reach out. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Thanks again, Alex.
Of course.
Guys, have a good day.